know, many people have asked me, hey Relic, will you ever get to rank 8000? And I always tell those people that no, I will never get there.
Is it even possible? Short answer, no.
So if we were to repeat that same game over and over again and win each time, that would take just over 13 years.
That pretty much tells me that the level 8000, it's never genuine.
The real question is then, why would Rockstar make it an available thing to reach that level in the game?
But here's another question, will anyone ever get there legitimately? And I want to say no.
1,787,576,850. That is the amount of RP needed in GTA Online to hit the max rank of 8,000. Since the game released back in 2013, we've seen people with this number in our lobbies, but it was always a clear sign that they had cheated in order to hit it. Everyone believed that it would be physically impossible for anyone to hit this number legitimately. Countless videos were made of people calculating that it would take over 10 years of continuous play in order to hit, a time too impossible for anyone to do. However, on one of these videos was a single comment from one player who believed that it could be done, that if you truly went about it in the smartest way, it could theoretically be completed in just a few years. And that player went by the name of Psycho. And today, in 2026, Psycho has gone and finally proven his theory right, becoming the first person in the world to legitimately hit level 8000. After over 1100 days of playtime and billions of RP earned, this is the story of how Psycho became the world's first and only level 8000. The race to max rank is a challenge that has been talked about for many years now, but back at GTA Online's launch, the race to 8000 wasn't even possible. When the game first came out, the max rank was only level 1000, which, given the very few ways of earning RP, would have been a feat of its own. It wasn't until about a month or so after the launch that Rockstar, for whatever reason, decided to make the highest level rank 8000. And it doesn't make sense as to why. I mean, to unlock everything in GTA Online, you only needed to reach level 120, so to most people, it wouldn't make sense to go much further past that. However, the people that do, don't do it because there's something to gain, they do it solely to prove they can. And so, when it comes to the rank 8000 race, many other creators have attempted to complete this but came up short. Probably the most well-known player from years prior was simply known as Relicane, who documented his progress all the way to a legit level 4000. He would post regular updates and guides for how he was able to progress at the rate he was, but even with his proven method, 8000 still seemed out of the reach even for him. Despite being level 4000, Relicane had still only acquired less than half of the RP needed in order to hit rank 8000. With this realization, in 2021, Relicane would eventually give up his goal of hitting max rank, as even the highest ranked player at the time simply thought that it was impossible.
You know, many people have asked me, hey Relic, will you ever get to rank 8000? As you're the closest legit guy to that level. And I always tell those people that no, I will never get there, it is impossible. The truth is that you would need 1,787,576,850 RP to get to level 8000. So that means that after 6+ years of playing this game online and actively grinding RP, I got about 18% of the amount of RP that you would need to reach level 8000. But here's another question, will anyone ever get there legitimately? And I want to say no. In my opinion, it just takes too long.
But despite his views on hitting 8000, another player was actively playing with a single goal in mind, to prove that it was possible to hit that number. That is, of course, Psycho. Psycho is a creator from Germany who has actively been playing his same character for over 10 years. Even before GTA Online, however, Psycho has always been a grinder. he spent a lot of time trophy hunting on PS4 and still does to this day, as he now has over 227 games platinumed and over 8,200 trophies overall. So, as someone who likes to grind, GTA Online seemed like the perfect game for him. He had started his character way back in 2014, but wouldn't start actively playing until May of 2016, and it quickly became his main game, spending hours day after day grinding everything from racing, PvP, time trials, crates, and anything else that he was up for that day. Even though he was putting in lots of hours around this time, he never had the goal of reaching the milestone he would eventually hit. However, even without that goal, Psycho had been maximizing his RP grind as much as possible, solely because he thought it was fun. While this isn't the sentiment of most players, he just really loved GTA Online and especially the grinding aspect of it. As he continued his daily play sessions over the next 3 to 4 years, he noticed that he had already progressed to become one of the highest level known legitimate players that existed, sitting around level 1700 by June of 2019. With how much he had been grinding the game, he figured he might as well start uploading his progress to YouTube and even started streaming quite often as well. He began posting anything from world record lap times, acquiring platinum medals, and of course his level progressions. By September of 2019, he would post his most popular video to date, hitting rank 2000 legit. However, despite documenting his progress and streaming a lot of his gameplay, the reaction from the community would be mixed. While many people were congratulating Psycho for the accomplishment, even more people had become skeptical. Lots of creators had made videos breaking down the insanity of reaching high levels in GTA Online, so a lot of people found it hard to believe that he was able to hit this legitimately. But those videos left out a few key details in all of their calculations that actually made this rank very possible. Events in GTA Online aren't just good for money, but also RP. Most players looked at these events for the extra money they can earn, but Psycho solely focused on maximizing how much RP he could gain during his sessions. If Lamar missions were 4 times RP, he ran those. If gun running was 2 times, he made sure to do as many of those in between. No one in the community really paid attention to their level past 120, but for Psycho, it was the complete opposite. And on top of all this, another key factor that's often left out is the addition of GTA Plus, which he had in order to get even more RP gains. So on average, he was making anywhere from 1.6 to 2 million RP a day depending on the events going on. With his strategy laid out, he continued to steadily grind GTA Online and would eventually hit rank 4000 in October of 2021, surpassing Relicane and becoming the highest level known player across the world. And just so that everyone knew that he hadn't been cheating, he would constantly give his fans stat updates with every new milestone that he would hit. What's funny, however, is that despite all of the optimizations that Psycho had made, he would reply to a comment on this video simply stating that 8,000 would never happen. Like we mentioned with Relicane earlier, he was only at about 1/3 of the way there. And just to put it into perspective, just level 1000 is already a number that most people would never dream of, and in order to hit rank 8000, you would need the equivalent RP of hitting level 1000 37 times. And so, that challenge still seemed out of the reach even for Psycho. But with the amount of support he was getting from his community as they've watched him over the last 2 years go from level 1700 all the way to 4000, the thought was starting to cross his mind. Still not sure, he eventually hit 4500, then 5000, then 5500. By this point, he was more than halfway to the coveted 8000. He had so much support coming from his community wanting him to push for 8,000 that his mindset had completely shifted. He was now fully determined to try and be the first legit level 8,000 in the game's history. And so, Psycho decided to set himself one single goal: hit level 8,000 before the release of GTA 6. And so, Psycho got to work. With just one final push left, it seemed like he would actually be able to prove everyone wrong about hitting rank 8000. He even managed to come up with some of the most ingenious ways of maximizing his RP during his final grind. One of these methods including having a second console running so that he could run missions with more than one player, which always provides more RP than running solo. A few people have argued that this may be illegitimate, but this is actually a very common method used for grinding in dozens of other MMOs. And given that he isn't botting since he's on PlayStation, it's actually just an ingenious way of grinding. Same with what is known as the piracy RP method. Whenever GTA Online didn't have any 2x or 3x events going on, Psycho would run a mission called Piracy Prevention, which allowed you to farm lots of RP by constantly circling around the military base. By getting a 4-star wanted level and losing it right after, the game would reward you with 400 RP, and Psycho even went as far as to optimize the exact distance where these actions would occur to get the most from each mission. This method has been in the game for over 10 years now, but no one has pushed it to the level that Psycho has. Once again, people have tried to call this method into question, but given he still had to fly around for hours every day while grinding this, and he isn't using a glitch, it still takes an insane amount of dedication to get to where he is. Not to mention that this only takes up a small portion of his grind. He grinded dozens of methods from collecting peyote plants, world record lap times, crate deliveries, community series missions, and much, much more. He did whatever method would help him achieve his goal as fast as possible. With these optimizations and events, Psycho would continue to absolutely fly up the ranks. And with GTA 6 delayed again until November of 2026, Psycho knew that he had more than enough time to reach his goal. And finally, on June 12th of 2026, with over 1,135 days played, $1.8 billion earned, 11,000 crates delivered, and over 56,000 races, Psycho had started up a live stream to hundreds of people where he had finally done it, and became the first and only person in the world to officially reach level 8,000. I hope you all enjoyed. Thank you for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace.